Hi guys! We have another video and another opportunity to learn more about REITs. Bago tayo magsimula, please click that subscribe button so that you could be notified for our next educational videos. A simple subscribe can be a big factor in helping our REIT community. So kung tapos na, let's begin! So our topic for today's video ay understanding dividend growth rate. So ano nga ba itong dividend growth rate? Ito ay ang pagtaas ng dividend distribution from its previous dividend declaration. Let's say for example, a REIT, when they gave out these dividends, as you can see in the screen, which means tumaas ng 0.66 pesos per share yung dividends from 2020 to 2022. So, anong indication nito guys? Nag-i-indicate lang ito that we have a better yield than the previous years. If you bought a REIT at 27 pesos per share during IPO, your dividend yield on cost would be 7.33%. If for example, we assume that a REIT will continue to do this for the next 10 years, as you can see in the chart, your dividend yield on cost would look like that in 2033. So, this is just an example and assumption, pero alam naman natin in between, there will always be declines. But the more important thing is, umaangat siya long term. Meaning, investing in a quality REIT stock will be essential for your long-term success. So we can give you an example of a dividend stock which has good dividend growth over the long term, owned by Mr. Warren Buffett. So this is just for a basis, no? So this is the dividend growth of Coke. So in 1993, there's a dividend payout of $0.08 per share. So in 2023, naging $1.76 per share na siya. So that's a whooping 2,100% growth. Isipin nyo guys, kapag nakapag-invest kayo dito, that's a massive dividend growth you are earning right now. So this is not a REIT stock, but the concept is the same. Though REITs might be slower than the usual dividend stocks, as REIT provides 90% of dividends, so it slows down the reinvested money for growth. Pero the concept is still the same. Let's proceed naman kung paano tumataas ang dividends ng REITs over the long term. Commonly used ng REITs ay property for share swap. Pero we will tackle this for another video kasi medyo mahaba itong topic na to. But in this video, we're just going to make things simple. First, company's growth. So like for example, if a certain REIT has one property and it has 5 shares, the REIT is going to distribute at least 90% of its distributable income to the investors through dividends. So, pwede maging 91, 92, or more than 100%. It all depends on the management. So, anything that is left for the REITs is reinvested back into the company for growth. So if they acquire another property, more dividends will be distributed to the investors. Second is rental escalation. Mostly, rental escalates at around 2 to 3%. This is mostly indicated in the lease contracts of tenants. This means more money for the REIT and dividend growth for the investors. Third is debt leverage. Ito ay ang pag-issue ng bonds to investors to acquire a certain property wherein the property is expected to get a rental income exceeding the interest paid, wherein the exceed income can be distributed to the investors as dividends and reinvested to the company for growth. So, calculating the dividend growth rate, we will use this formula in order for us to get the dividend growth rate. Current dividends minus previous dividends divided by previous dividends times 100%. Let's take the example of a REIT, no? So, in 2020, nagbigay siya ng 1.32, 2021, 1.77, and 2022 is 1.98. So, if we want to get the dividend growth rate of a REIT from 2020 to 2022, so it will be 1.98 minus 1.32 divided by 1.32 times 100%. Now, we have a 50% dividend growth rate of a REIT from 2020 to 2022. So for the conclusion guys, basically, you can compare every REIT's dividend growth rate. Then, you can review the fundamentals of every REIT. This is usually done by the investors as they are looking for growing cash flow over the long term. Every dividend investors want dividend rate to consistently grow no matter how slow. It doesn't matter if it declines for a certain time, but it should be growing over the long term. Consistent decline of dividend rate should be assessed by every investor to what struggles the REIT has been encountering. Temporary problems that could be solved in the short term is a good opportunity to accumulate more. But serious struggles that can hurt the REIT in the long term should be considered and disposed if necessary. After all, lahat naman ng companies nagkakaroon talaga ng struggles. There is no linear upward movement. We just have to choose the quality REITs that are resilient enough to withstand any economic changes. So that's all for today guys. So kung may mga questions kayo, just comment down below and I will take time to answer all your inquiries. So that's all for today guys. Thank you for watching. We will be uploading more educational videos soon. So like, share, and subscribe.